welcome to Living on the Spectrum. I am one of your hosts, Tim.
Hi, okay, I'm unmuted. Hi, Denisha, Ashley. Yes.
And
Just
today,
living with the spectrum.
yeah, I know. It's a challenging process sometimes, but it can be good. Um, this show, we're going to be talking about the continuation. Actually, is going to be part two of our diagnosis. When we talked about our son being diagnosed with autism, and now we're talking about our daughter, Evea.
Okay, give me one second. I'm sorry, you guys.
Okay. And I think Denisha's actually being called away for a second. So, yeah. So basically, yeah, we're going to be talking about the second diagnosis with Evea and how difficult and how hard that was and how challenging that was. On this one, I don't think I was there for this one. We actually, let me give you a backstory real quickly. We actually went up to Boston. We were living in Orlando. She was born in Winter Park. Um, and I had a job, a seasonal job doing insurance, annual enrollment. And we went to Boston for about 4 or 5 months. Came down to the Atlanta region, and we noticed something weird about Evea. She was always playing with her ears. At that time, she was talking a little bit. She was, moving around, saying, mommy and daddy, and singing songs. She used to sing with me, church songs and so on and so forth. And we get down here, and I guess it was time to take her school shots. She needed one more dose of shots. And she got the shots, but shortly, and it seemed like it happened quickly to me that she began to digress. She began to, instead of being alert, she began to not make sounds. She would make noises, like she was afraid to talk. And we got her hearing checked and everything else, and found out it wasn't her hearing because she could hear very well. It was just that she was digressing, and I just don't know how to put a spin on it or to articulate it even more than that. Um, all that we know is that she was doing good, and all of a sudden she wasn't doing good. So that was one of the things that really got us hit pretty hard, because I mean that was the first thing that happened. And then we were like, well, why don't we get her tested and see what's going on with her? And we ended up getting her tested. Took her to the Market Center and found out that she had autism as well.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell you where I left off. I was telling them about the symptoms that
The
Yvette was
videos
having when we moved from Boston and we came down to the Atlanta area. How she was touching her ears, how she was, you know, she was talking a little bit, but she started to digress a little bit. And I was at the part of when we had got her tested for autism. Go ahead.
Um, can you guys see me? I don't.
I'm gonna put you back on right now.
Okay. How are you doing? Please. Um,
Yeah, I don't
and
understand. But the camera's doing the thing that it's doing.
it's always something.
It's always something, right?
That's just me. Me again. Yep, there you are.
Okay, now we see you. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm on the left
There we
side.
are. Again.
All right.
Um, so where'd you see me?
I was talking about her getting tested at the Marcus Institute.
Oh yeah.
That's where I left
Since
it.
we are talking about Isaiah, um, let me just say this week has been very rough. And I'm trying to pull up just to make sure. You know how I keep saying I have to make sure that the sound is up and everything is okay with um, the live. So that's what I'm doing. Um, this week has been rough, and yes, we are supposed to talk about. Okay, the sound is good. Girl, sorry, I'm trying. Okay. So anyway, so Evea, what am I saying?
Babe, we could barely hear you.
I don't know.
Okay, that's better.
That's better.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So yes, when we left Houston and we came to Atlanta, I was taking Nehemiah and Evia to the pediatrician. Um, I think it was just for Nehemiah, just for a checkup because we moved here. And please excuse my not so enthusiasm. Like I said, this week has been very long. I started my new job a little bit. Eve has been sick this week. And anybody that has a child that is nonverbal and they get sick, it's extremely taxing because when you have a child that's sick, you already don't get much rest because you're up and you have to make sure that they're okay. But for us, it's a little bit more because, she can't tell us if she's hurting or if she's in pain or, any of the stuff. So I have to go completely and solely on my mother intuition and God speaking to me, listening, hearing the voice of God. So I'm tired. And,
Babe,
but yes,
I'm gonna call you and see if I can intercept the sound on this side because we can barely hear you. You
can
pick
you
up?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Nehemiah, obviously, but it's going to be an echo now.
Um, just mute your computer volume, your mic.
Mute my computer volume.
Yeah, I'll just use this. All right. Say something. Yeah, I can hear you. Um, give me just 1 second. I'll fix it. And it's still there, huh? Try that. Well, listen up, folks. Right now, you see that we're having technical difficulties. We're generally in the same room, but as my wife stated, my daughter wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling the best, so we're in two different rooms. Um, so I don't want it to be where you just hear one side of the story and not hear both sides.
We
So
can't see you, babe.
you can't see me?
No.
Okay.
And as you can see, yes, the Christmas decorations are still up. Because there has been
Okay. All right. So everything's looking better now. I'll just have to edit this show down. Um, okay. So, babe, everything's back up and running. Can you test?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Can you test?
I'm testing. It's
Okay.
still.
You sound better. You sound better.
It still has the. Did you have to restart a new? Oh, there it is.
I just refreshed it. That's all.
Okay. So anywho, I'm sorry, y'all. So y'all not gonna get like the popping, bubbly person that y'all used to seeing because it's been a very taxing week. But yes, like Tim said, and we want to continue with the process. So we're pressing forward, even in the midst of, you know, Evea not feeling good. And no, she did not have COVID.
Yeah. And I didn't feel good either.
But uh, and Tim started not feeling good. He's fine now, but we're still extremely cautious. You know what I mean? Like we kept the kids, separated. Tim stayed separated just because we do want to be cautious. We're also aware that there are lots of other sicknesses out there. There's still the common cold. There's still the flu. There's still children, and so they still get childhood sicknesses. Child go to school, they come back with something that the other children done had, and they bring it to you. Don't always got to be the COVID.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
this kind of strange. If there's a pandemic that's out there, and they tell you 1 minute don't wear your masks, and the kids get sick, and they bring it home to the family.
I mean,
So what I mean, what's this all
I,
about? Is it? Are we really trying to protect each other? Or are we trying to bring numbers up and say that it's COVID? You know,
well, it's all about
and
what you
people
need to do for
and people,
yourself.
you should be ashamed of yourselves sending your kids to school sick.
Tip, we're not here for that. That
I
is not
mean,
what we are here for.
that's
People
not what we're
go,
here for. But we're parents,
yes, we are parents,
okay?
and not all parents
Respect
are.
everybody.
Babe, we're getting off task.
Okay, let's not get off task. Go ahead.
Like at the end of the day, everybody has to do what's right for their family. If mask up, you should mask up regardless. If you have been vaccinated or if you have not been vaccinated, so that you can protect your family
And others,
and others around. That's period.
be
Anyways,
responsible. Be
we're
responsible.
moving on from that. But what I'm saying is, so this week has been a lot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we want to stay focused on being um what's the word I'm looking for? Um we want to do this. What's the word, Tim? Like when you're
I can't read minds.
like when you're constant,
All right.
when you're being on task, whatever. I don't know.
Okay. So
But we want to
we want to do
be,
this continuously. We want
yes.
to.
We, even though, I may not be feeling so excited and we've had a long week, we still want to make sure that we bring out good content.
Yeah.
And excuse me. So that being said, let's talk about Evea. Let's talk about a little bit about her being sick this week, and then we could talk a little bit about her diagnosis. Because her diagnosis was a lot less. We didn't have to go through as much as we had to go through when we were in Florida for Nehemiah. Georgia and Florida are completely different. They may be side by side, but the hoops that I had to jump through for Nehemiah, it was so much. And I barely had to jump through a half of a hoop to get Evea diagnosed. And we were coming in, and excuse my hair, no, it ain't did, but that's okay. I got her diagnosed within a couple of excuse me months. But what I wanted to touch on a little bit was this past week, and this is giving homage or paying tribute to all of our families that have to deal with what we deal with when your children are sick. God bless you and us, because It's a lot. We woke up. What day was that? Wednesday morning we woke up,
It
and you
was,
said she had thrown up in the bed.
yeah, it was Wednesday.
Okay. Are you sure it was Wednesday or Thursday?
Uh,
Either way,
it was
okay,
Wednesday.
our days began melding together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that we have to make mention of is us saying that our child is nonverbal. We're not saying that she's nonverbal and she says a few things. She, at this present time, has no words. Um, and we'll kind of go back and forth with Ivea because in the beginning, when Ivea was about two, she was singing. She used to sing one of the Ty Trebet songs that we would play all the time. I can't remember whatever the song was, but she loved this.
Stayed on you.
Yeah, I
Um,
got my mind stayed on you, and
yeah.
she would scream that out. So she started developing, as any other child, I assume. But again, we had nothing to gauge and we had nothing to go on. Because if you think about it, our son had been diagnosed, and so we were still trying to learn and get him situated with therapy and things like that. So when I did get pregnant with Ivea, I was not in a place of, yay, we're pregnant again. As a matter of fact, I remember being extremely upset because I felt like Nehemiah needed so much of us because he was newly diagnosed and we were still trying to figure out exactly what autism was and what our life was going to look like. So I remember Tim, he was excited and he was already ready to pick out names and things. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, did you not just understand what, we were dealing with already? And, if you know my husband, it's all, God got us. And I hear it, I feel it, and I believe it. But I was still in denial and still so hurt about Nehemiah's diagnosis that I wasn't ready to, be pregnant again. Now, mind you, of course, I got pregnant, so I wasn't doing nothing to prevent it. But at the same time, you know, I was like, Lord, what is happening? Like, not now, but again, our timing and God's timing are different.
Yeah.
So we figured that she was developing okay, her and
Yeah.
my father had like the cutest, you know, grandpa granddaughter relationship. And at one point, we were just having a really rough time in Orlando. Orlando was not for us.
Yeah. Financially, it was not.
Financially, it was just, it was a lot. And Florida, anyway, if you like, you got to have a good career in Florida. And if you want to make it, you know what I mean? And so Tim had the opportunity. Shout out to Victor and
Carol.
our dear friend that just recently passed, Carol,
Yeah.
who got Tim this opportunity to go to Boston. And Victor called Tim, excuse me, I'm kind of scatterbrained too at the same time. But Victor called him and told him about this opportunity that his wife had. And he said, man, just try it. They'll send you out to Boston and everything will be paid for. You'll be in a hotel for like 4 months and you won't have to pay for nothing. And so,
They were the ones that got me into the insurance world.
yep, Victor and Carol. And oh gosh, when I think about it, my heart gets so sad because Carol was such a sweet lady.
Yeah.
Like it really does suck, but God knows, better than we do.
Yeah.
So Tim came to me and he was like, babe, Victor told me about this job that Carol already got, and she's gonna be leaving for Boston in about a month for about 4 months. And he said I should, try to get it. Should I? And stay with us. This is going somewhere. Like we ain't going around the mulberry bush. We going around, but we gonna get back to the anyway. But so I said, do it. Like we were already just done with Orlando. And if you have been in Florida and you've been to a place or any place that you're just done with, we were like done. Like it was just a lot, you know. So I was like, just, you know, whatever happens, just do it. So he did the application, had the interview. Within like 2 days, they told him he had the job, right, babe?
They contacted me. I did the interview. Yeah, within 2 days.
I mean, within 2 days, it was like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We'll see you in 3 weeks.
And I
And
didn't. I got to say this. I didn't think I was going to get the job.
no,
I
he
was
did.
filling out applications,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, you know, we're tired of this place. I'm like, Lord, if it's your will, let me get this job.
100%. Yeah. And I remember him coming to me and saying, like, if I get the job, what are you going to do? Like,
You gonna come with me?
what you mean, bro? I'm coming too. Me and my kids. We packing up and we's moving to Boston. Like, there was never any part of my mind that said he was going to Boston and I was staying in Florida. Uh-uh. Now, my father, he had other plans. My dad was like, you let Tim go, get situated. You and the kids come to Florida. I mean, come to Vero with us, and we'll, you know, take care of you guys. And then Tim can be in Boston and send money back. I'm like, I appreciate everything that you're saying, Daddy, and I love you, and I know that you want this. But I'm sorry, I'm going with my husband. I'm going to Boston. And then they were like, well, how about you two go and leave the kids? Yeah, that's not happening. Our kids are coming to Boston with us. So they tried everything they could to keep some part of, you know, them in Florida. But I just know that God, like our time in Florida was done. Like to the point where when we had like my parents came up to Orlando and we had what like a couple of days to like pack up what we wanted to pack up.
Man,
Like
we threw out everything.
we threw we could if we could have took that whole apartment and threw it in the trash, baby.
We
Throw a
threw
whole
out tables, chairs, every.
throw the entire apartment away. And my mom kept saying, well, you need something when you know when you guys finally settle and figure out I don't want nothing to tie me to
Nothing.
Orlando. I'm done. And my mom was laughing. And I thank God for the wisdom of my mom because thank God, like when we finally got settled in Atlanta, she was like, now, since you decided you wanted to throw everything away, I did keep a couple of things. So thank God she did like keep some stuff for us and we were able to have some things that they brought up to Atlanta for us. Thank God. But when I tell you, me and Tim ain't want nothing from Orlando. Orlando ain't owe us nothing and we ain't want nothing from them. So when we left Orlando, we had like a farewell party. And Ivea was talking. Now, I will say she was walking on her knees. But right before we left, our children have such a funny way of kind of giving us some keys to, you know, this journey is going to be a little different than what you thought. So Ivea was on her knees walking. And for the longest time, we didn't understand it. We was like, why is this girl on her knees? Like, who does that? Like, why aren't you? And it was nothing that we could do to get her to walk. And I'm going to give my girl, my sister-in-law, Jennifer, her props. Because, again, she came through. I don't know what it is about Jennifer and my kids. If you could see me, I'm trying to figure out where Tim is. Tim, we can't see you. But every time it's time for my kids to walk, Jennifer is around. And whatever kind of auntie sprinkle magic she got, she uses it and they begin to walk for her. So anyway, she started walking regularly on her feet. And when we got to Boston, I don't know, it was just a flip. Like the person that we saw, the loving, no, she was still loving, but the talker and the enthusiastic and the singer and the little girl that I was so excited to have by this time, because I was like, I cannot wait to get her dressed and find out the things that she likes to wear and do all of the mother daughter things that, I did with my mom and love to do with my mom. Me and my mom now are like the best of friends. Growing up, I couldn't say that. But now I can. I'm grown now. But I was looking forward to all of that. And so before our eyes, it was like, oh, it was like something like a wall had been brought up. And I'm like, not this. Like, what is happening? And so what we thought was um that she missed my dad a lot, because they were really close. So we're like, maybe she just misses her grandpa a lot. So we for Thanksgiving we flew them out to Boston to spend a couple of days with us. And again, my mom she said something to me, but she was like, I ain't trying to. I don't want to be that person no more. Just be cautious and um, watch her. That's it. She didn't say anything about getting her diagnosed or take her to the pediatrician or anything. She just said keep an eye on her, because I was like, mommy, Yvette's not really doing what she used to do. She wasn't singing no more. We noticed that.
She was touching her ears.
Excuse me. Yeah, she was grabbing on her ears and doing this all the time. And so we thought too that because it was so cold in Boston and windy and snow, she wasn't used to it. That was something that was her defense mechanism. So anyway, fast forward, we moved to Atlanta, and we were living with his sisters at the time. Thank you, sisters, for letting us come live with you for a month.
Yeah.
And I remember this day distinctly because I sat in the cul-de-sac at my sister-in-law's house, and I was just so done. Like, and this was not the official diagnosis, but this, again, I took Nehemiah to the pediatrician, just I think for like a well visit or whatever. And Evea was in her umbrella stroller. And I don't remember the doctor's name, but she was very sweet. And Nehemiah had gotten done with I'm sorry, somebody's calling me. Gene Higgins, I'm in the middle of a podcast. I'll call you back. So when after he was done, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like lag, but the pediatrician, I said to her, I said, can you just tell me, if you see, something different about Evea? Do I need to go get her checked for autism? Because, my son has autism, and, I know, even though they told me that there wasn't a possibility that there would be 2 kids out of the bunch with autism. She was like, I'm going to stop you there, honey. She didn't even let me finish what I was about to say. Babe, we're not on the same screen anymore, if that matters. I don't know.
That's fine.
Okay. And I'm a creature of habit, if you see. Like, I like something a certain way. See, like, this makes me more comfortable seeing him on the screen. But she was like, I'm not going to even like, she cut me off. And she was like, she's autistic. And I'm like, but wait, hold on. Like, just 1 second. Like, let me just give you some. And she was like, I don't need, and she wasn't being mean. Like, she was like, I don't want you to try to, you don't need to like try to draw this thing out. You don't need to give me nothing. She has autism. And I was like, but I thought they said that this wasn't possible. And she was like, well, the research is expanding and blah 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 or whatever. And so she was the one who said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you a referral to go to the Marcus Institute. And so that's where, if you are in Georgia, you take your children or child or someone that you know or whatever to get diagnosed. Well, that's one of the places. I know that's where we went for our last two diagnoses, yeah, whatever. So I was like, in my head, like, this cannot be happening. Like, why am I like, why are we being punished? Like, we did this much bad in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, now the way me and Tim met, like, we met at church and stuff like that. But I know that it was nothing bad. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't understand it. And I didn't understand why we were being punished. I didn't understand why it was just, I couldn't. So,
And of course, I might say, if I might say, anyone that's going through this particular situation, you're going to have questions. You're going to have questions in your mind. You're going to
yeah,
have sometimes you're going to doubt certain things. You're going to sometimes you're not even you question even your faith. You know, so we're believing. We're like, Lord, you heal, you do this, and so on and so forth. So why is this happening to us?
no more.
But even though it has happened to us, we have not stopped believing that God
Of
can
course.
change the situation.
Of course.
But we do have to live this out in real time. So in my real circumstance, in my today, how do I tackle this obstacle? How do I tackle what it is that we're going through? And not to get off subject, but you have to find ways to cope on a daily basis. One day you're up, one day you're down. And you got to see how you can make your day the best day for you. So, go ahead.
That's facts. And we're still trying to learn how to cope and figure it out, because a lot of times we still have our days where, it's like, I don't want to. I don't. I see so many moms on the autism groups that I'm in, and it's heartbreaking, because when you in this life, you feel what they saying. Like, they be crying. Like, some people post, excuse me, their pictures of them crying, and because their child won't stop having tantrums, or they're trying to figure out, is this a stemming? Is my child stemming right now? It's all different types of things that I've watched and seen on these Facebook autism groups, and it's like, wow, you don't even understand, like, excuse me, how much you can relate to these people. So this is why we do what we do. You know what I mean? And then again, being black, being African American, whatever. I was watching it anyway. So at the same time, that's a whole nother ball game. When you
Wait. You can't open up the door a little bit and close it real quickly. What do you mean?
what do you mean? What happened?
Explain to the audience. You said about being black. You saw something. What did you see?
No, it was a joke, but it's like not a big deal.
Okay.
Because I said African American, and then I seen somebody on TV said we're Africans in America or something like that. But that's not a big thing. Um, when you have autistic children and you are when you black, that's another cross to bear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and I'm gonna be really honest, a lot of times they just see you as having bad children. Okay, they don't. Oh, he need a whooping. Oh, she needed this. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, and it's like, I get you, I feel you, because we're not allowing our children to run us.
No.
But
But
at the same time, go
but a
ahead, babe.
whooping's not gonna help my daughter talk.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said a whooping is not gonna help my daughter talk. There's other ways to discipline her. We may pop her on the hand or something of that nature because we know that if she knows she's doing something wrong, and we know that she knows, we try to redirect her from doing that. but we're
Exactly.
not gonna, abuse our kids. We're just gonna try to direct them into doing the right things.
Exactly. And that's one thing that stigma, we gotta kill that, because it's not always that. Now there are bad kids out there that ain't autistic now, okay? It's some bad children out there.
Yeah,
Or busy, whatever. I don't really like calling people kids bad, but whatever the case may be. But a lot of times in our culture, we don't embrace autism the way it should be embraced. Get down, because it shows differently. If he or she is having a tantrum or stimming or something, or if it's inconvenient in the moment, if I'm around a crowd and it's inconvenient for the somebody that don't understand what I'm going through or what my child is dealing with, to them my child seem like he or she need a whooping or a spanking or some reprimanding, but that's not what's going on at that moment. I'm feeling defeated as a parent and as a person that has children that have autism. I'm trying to not bring so much attention to the situation. But at the same time, I've left a many gatherings because I'm just like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. Let me just remove me and my child or my children out of this situation and go home.
because people don't understand.
Huh?
Because people don't understand. They
They
don't
don't
understand.
understand. And some people, oh, don't worry about it, it's okay. No, don't worry about it, it's okay. But you still see the faces. You still feel the feelings. We might be having issues with our kids, but we not silly. We understand and we see. So for us, for our own, mental,
Peace
so
of
that we
mind.
can have a peace of mind, we would
Yeah.
rather remove ourselves out of the situation, regardless of if somebody say don't go, stay, they're okay. It's 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 not it's you almost want to say it's embarrassing, because you're not embarrassed of your child. You love your child. I love all of my children. But
Yes.
it's because you can't in that moment say, well, they got autism and this is the signs of autism and they are stimming or they're having a tantrum because the lights are too bright or too much noise or whatever.
Yeah. And
So,
this is one thing about autism. Um, the sensitivity to different things, whether it be light
very
to, or sound, is very, very sensitive.
extremely.
So it's kind of like in some ways a superpower that they're trying to work out. Like who's that guy? Well, I mean, Ray Charles was blind, but he can hear really well, right?
Exactly.
So
Right. So and again, bouncing back and forth. So yeah, that's what we do. So it's important for us to do these because I want autism. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a nationality. It doesn't look like anything. It is what it is. And you're not there is no manual. There is all this research that's very helpful, all this therapy that is extremely helpful to get your children in therapy earlier on so that you can help them progress as best to their fullest potential. But when you're thrown into the mix of it, some of that stuff that you've learned gets thrown out of the window because you're in the midst of a battle and you're like, okay, I just need to figure out how to diffuse this right now. And sometimes the tactics and the tools that you learn, you're like, that ain't working and I need some peace. So, sometimes you do give in, if they want a cookie, if they want their tablet or whatever the case may be. And I'm learning a lot about that. So, anyway, fast forward. I said that to say that um, we gotta do better. We gotta be more conscious and more compassionate to our people,
yes,
especially when they have special needs children. We already feel some type of way, y'all. Trust me, the mothers
okay,
and the fathers.
that's true. We're actually 41 minutes in, and I just want you to I guess discuss how you felt when you heard the diagnosis with you there.
Um,
What happened? What
okay,
did the doctor say?
yes. He said, "Rain it in, sis, you talking too much. I got you." um, yeah, so when she said that to me, the pediatrician, um, I was hurt. I was really upset. I was upset with God. I ain't gonna sit here and I ain't gonna lie to you. I was not happy. And I sat in the parking lot at my sister-in-law's house for a good 30 minutes. Tim was working, and so I didn't get a chance to talk to him off that. But I called my mom and I told her, I'm like, Mom, the pediatrician just said Eva's autistic. And she was like, I know. Like, she didn't know because she was there, but she knew because she knows the signs, and the Holy Spirit had already dropped it in her spirit. Boom. So I was like, I can't keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, now I don't want it my child. Yeah, I want my child. But what does this look like? You know what I mean? Because you don't know. Like, this was different. This had a different face on it. You know what I mean? Because by this time, Nehemiah had his glasses. He was more vocal. He was still echolalic, but um, he was able to. We were able to have many conversations with, like, a couple of words here, a couple of words there. He could tell us what he wanted. Um, excuse me. If he didn't feel good, he would say, "Tummy hurt" or something like that. So that was a step up for us. But when she was diagnosed, I'm going on to the diagnosis. Evelle was completely different, and I didn't understand. And when we took her to the Marcus Institute this time, everything was like laid out for us. Again, in Florida, I had to go to a psychologist, I had to go to the pediatrician, I had to go to a occupational therapist. I mean, all these different people. But when I got to Georgia, and I think this was one of the reasons why the Lord allowed us to move to Georgia, because it really has helped us with our kids. So I sent in the referral, got the appointment for the Marcus Institute. It did take a couple of months because um, it was packed up. Anyway, we got in to the Marcus Institute, and my parents came down for the diagnosis, and they took us back, and they did all of the same testing that they did for Nehemiah with the bear and the cup and but this time all she wanted was me. She wasn't checking. She didn't care. She wouldn't even look her way. It was either me or my dad. She didn't want to participate at all. She did do a lot of crying. And that was extremely heartbreaking for me. Because all of the hopes and the dreams that I had for us as a mommy and daughter duo, I felt like they was crumbling right before my eyes. Like, you know, at one point she would say why, which means she wanted water.
Yeah.
She would say cookie.
She would say, "Mommy, what?
She
What?"
was, yeah, mama way, dada way, mama cookie, all of that. By the time she was 4, it was gone.
Like it was erased.
And it was just like, I know one time we were living at our old house in Covington, and my parents were down, and this was after her diagnosis, and she was singing her ABCs out of nowhere. And then after that, it was like nothing. It was like that little girl that was singing and playing and, always having a good time when she was, 2, was gone. And that was hard because as a mom with a daughter that you just always want to have a daughter or whatever, that regardless, okay, so you got to look at it like this. You mourn that. You don't mourn your child. It does feel like a kind of a death. You know what I'm saying? Not physical, thank God, but it's some type of that whatever you had.
It's kind of like that person was is gone
Yeah.
in some ways.
Or whatever you thought was going to happen. Manis and petties. You know what I mean? Going out. You like this dress? I mean, do you like this color? Do you want to wear these shoes? Let's pick your outfit out for the first day of school. Um, just all of this stuff. I'm going to get my nails done. Let me take Evea with me. Gone.
Yeah,
So you find yourself not even wanting to do things like that anymore
and
because it's like I wanted to do this with my daughter, and she don't even want you to touch her now. She don't want you to even look at her sometimes. I will tell you.
wants her own personal space, basically.
She want
Um,
her 6 feet, baby. So
yeah,
COVID, look, we've been doing 6 feet before COVID. Okay.
yeah,
I will tell you now, Yvette will get in her ways. If you even look away, it's gonna be some problems. Do you understand me? And we have to be like, okay, sorry. If you just go, hey, sweetheart, she don't want it. And so that's hurtful. So to me, I still have a very, very hard time. I'm being very transparent with you right now. I have
yeah,
an extremely hard time with that.
yeah.
Even today.
Babe, we're gonna have to start getting ready to wrap this up. But I want to say how I felt when I heard the news. When I heard the news, I was again disappointed. I was heartbroken. My daughter used to sing with me,
Hmm.
and I just I kind of felt like my head couldn't go up after that. You know, um, knowing that my baby girl at the time
I'm okay.
was diagnosed with autism. So another child yet again, and my faith, it's like starting to question my faith as of at this time, and it's just, it's a sad thing because there's things we want to do. We hear other people doing good things with their children achieving certain things that our children can't do, don't have the ability to do, and it's sad. But by it being sad, how do I live through this? How
Yeah.
do I? How do we make it work for us? And again, me and my wife, we've been married for 13 years, going on 14 years,
Mhm.
and
Whoop,
people
whoop.
usually that have children that have autism don't really make it that long. They
That's
don't
true.
they don't make it that long. They usually split up, get a divorce, separate.
Yeah.
But thank God for keeping us.
He has definitely kept this marriage. I will say, you know, yeah, it's rough, but it is doable.
Yeah, it is.
And when we realize that we are a team, um, it makes it a lot better. When I'm able to go home, if I've had a really bad day with Ivea and we've been out and we've had a bad day, if I can when I can go home and talk to my husband and I can talk to him and tell him how I feel and he understands how I feel, that makes it so much better. Now, there are people out there that don't get that. And so I pray for those people because you need to be able to talk to somebody. It's easy to say you can talk to your friends and say, girl or dude, whatever, this is what my son or my daughter is doing. And they try to understand. But when you got somebody that really is in it with you and understand it, that makes a world of difference. Um, and I'm learning. I started my new job. And how much time we got back? Cause you be about to cut me off, and I don't understand.
Um, I think you be taking up the whole show space. So
How, babe? So then say something. You okay? So you asked me, and I'm not taking up the
I'm
show
saying, I'm
space. But
saying, I'm saying, talk in moderation. Chop it up.
babe, I'm the one that's been taking them to the appointments. That's why I have the most information in the beginning,
Okay. Well,
right?
this is what we'll do. Just
No,
hold that
but
thought.
is that the truth or is that the truth?
It is truth.
Okay.
But
So
hold that
what
thought
is
because we don't we only have so much time in the podcast. So this is what we're going to do. I want you to hold that thought, write down your thoughts for the next time because we got another diagnosis to talk about. And we thank you guys for tuning in to Living with the Spectrum.
I think
We,
we need to babe, you're cutting us short.
I think that we will see you the next time we're Living with the Spectrum. We'll have everything work out the kinks but stay tuned for Denisha's the rest of her story next week. We come out on Sundays, 7 o'clock every week. And anything you want to say, babe?
No, you done cut me off, so I guess I'm through. You ain't let me tell my first week. I mean, like, you how I mean, I guess we just have to discuss because of what
How long the shows are going to be? Because we're actually running up on an hour now.
and all of the other ones have been that.
Not so far. Just one.
Yes.
One has been like an hour. But let's not argue about it.
It ain't
Let's
nothing to argue about. If
let's
you the
piggyback.
producer,
Let's piggyback around the next time. We'll give you more insight, and we love y'all. Thank you for viewing, and thank you for viewing Living with the Spectrum. Peace.